With the draft exactly 2 weeks away, we take a look at a couple different options for the Cardinals starting at pick 3.
Does it make sense to start at tackle, edge, or perhaps a new franchise quarterback? We'll dive in on Birds Coast to Coast.
You're listening to Birds Coast to Coast. Here's your host, John Clark and Tanner Riddle.
All right, everyone, welcome to Birds Coast to Coast. I'm your host, John Clark, with my amazing host to my right, Tanner Riddle. We're here to discuss, after many, many weeks and almost a full month and a half of mock drafts, or not really mock drafts, but mock draft reading and draft coverage from us. We're finally going to take the bull by the horns and finally start doing some mock drafts of our own. Going to get our hands dirty and see what's to really find with the pick number 3 for the Cardinals. So today's going to be our Cardinals mock draft episode. The way we have this planned out is quite easy. Today's going to be our Cardinals mock draft episode, and then next week's going to be our Eagles mock draft episode. And since the Cardinals are picking third and have the much higher pick and a lot more, extravagance and drama with the third overall pick, I thought we'd start there first because that's the impact pick, and the last couple picks in the first round for the Eagles ain't going to be as exciting unless there's an AJ Brown trade. But, we're going to start with pick 3 because that's the best pick we can find between two of our teams. And we're going to go, what was it, Tanner? 3 rounds each? What was it? Something like that?
I thought it would make sense to do a couple different mock drafts, no more than
Yeah.
about 3. I mean, let's be honest, as much fun as it is to get down and dirty and get sweaty with all this, I don't know any of us are capable of doing 7. So I feel like 3 rounds is a fair amount.
Yeah, I totally think so. I think it's going to be good. And we're also going to be making sure that as we go through here, we are very intentional about what positions we choose. Now, the names we might choose may differ. Like, we may not like the same edge rusher. I may argue to take, a different edge rusher like Ruben Bain, or maybe he might want David Bailey. But, at the end of the day, our job is to try to find the best position that fixes the Cardinal situations. And then that will alter the rest of the draft from there on out, because any good Madden or fantasy player knows that once you take one position, the positions kind of change. The value of everything shifts. If you take something in the first round thinking that the position is deep somewhere else, and then that doesn't turn out to be the case, you may be left empty-handed. So we're going to start off by doing the first mock draft. And, of course, we're going to be doing a mock draft on a website. So for those of you who are just listening to this, it may be wise to you to, maybe find a seat, maybe grab a snack, and maybe watch what we got going on, because this is a viewer episode. We need to make sure we can see our screens if at all possible. We'll do our best to kind of make sure that we can relay the information to the audio only listeners, but we want to make sure that to best visualize what we're putting out here for today, we want to make sure you can see the screen. So here's your chance. Go find a screen. 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. So at this point, we're going to start sharing screens. We're going to start showing and presenting things. If you haven't found that spot yet, then congrats. You are going to be left out. No, it's not going to be too bad. So as you can see here, we have a screen here with all the NFL teams laid out between 1 all the way down to pick 32. And even some more for some reason. Why do I see all the way down to the Broncos? Tanner, why do I see pick 62 there for the Broncos?
I think it represents each team's first pick.
Oh,
the Broncos,
okay.
They traded their first, so their
That
first pick
makes
is
sense.
62.
Yeah, I was wondering why that was the case. Okay, cool. Yeah. So basically how this is going to work is Tanner is going to sim the rest of the, or sim up to the Cardinals pick. Again, if you're someone who plays Madden or fantasy, when you simulate a mock draft, the rest of the picks go by pretty quick. But it'll be when we get to our team, the Cardinals, is when we're going to have to deliberate. So let's see what happens, Tanner. You want to run that first mock draft and see who the Cardinals and Jets take?
Yeah, I also kind of want to piggyback off of what you were saying. It's not as much. Well, obviously, it matters who you pick. If you have a preference at an edge rusher or a preference at a tackle, that's one part of this exercise. But I think the other part of the exercise is to see who's available on the turnaround.
Yes.
You mentioned fantasy football. If there's a good enough tight end, sometimes you'll see them go, some way maybe later in the first round. Even though they're not the highest score, there are other positions that are going to score more. But the idea is the drop off between one, within a position from one guy to the next, it's more advantageous to lock in a top scorer at a position like tight end where they're not the highest scorer and there's only maybe a handful, if that at best. And so I
Absolutely.
think it makes sense, even if you think the value at number 3 could be an edge rusher. I think there could be an argument that, hey, there are actually more edge rushers or enough edge rushers available in the second round that I think it might make more sense to go with a tackle at the third pick, because for the second pick, the drop off's pretty steep. And I'm not saying that's exactly what we're going to see, but I think that kind of emphasizes why this exercise is important
I agree.
to see
I
what
mean,
our scenarios are.
no, I mean I get it because I mean at the end of the day we see edge rushers and tackles kind of fall at different parts of the draft, but the really good tackles are usually available like in the top 10 picks, maybe even the top 5 picks. And I'm going to be honest, I'm searching on my hand the amount of like Pro Bowl right and left tackles that are found in the back end of the first. Kind of makes me nervous because that's kind of what people are projecting for the Eagles to take in the 23rd pick. So it's like, do I want like the 6th best tackle? I don't know if that's a great idea for pick number 23, but
There's so few of them that
mhm,
not only do they get locked up early in the draft, they don't become available in free agency.
yeah,
And you rarely see trades for premier tackles. You
exactly.
see trades for premier edge rushers, I won't say all the time, but quite frequently. And so it's just, you got to get them when you can because they don't become available. And that's a little bit of my argument, a little bit how I, set my preference. But I think an exercise like this really showcases, how that works.
So should we just go ahead and make this first mock draft the offensive tackle draft?
Yeah, I don't see why not. There is some interesting news regarding the tackles.
Oh, interesting.
At
What
least that
dropped?
came from this week. Did you see the thing about Francis Mauigoa?
Not exactly. I did see his name pop up, but
So
I didn't see exactly what
so
happened.
he voluntarily offered to go, and I've actually never heard of this before. He voluntarily offered to go to the combine rechecks. Have you ever heard of that before?
I've never heard of those. What is that?
Yeah, so apparently something came up that brought up some concern regarding some injury concerns for him. I guess he had some back issues that popped up, and so the way it was worded to me is he like willingly said, "Yeah, let's go." Like, I feel comfortable that this is not a long term issue. If it makes you feel more comfortable to get this rechecked, let's do it.
Mm.
Um, I mean, does it look bad if he's unwilling to do it? I don't know, but I feel pretty good saying it does look good that he is willing to do
No,
it.
absolutely. It tells us
And
that
the
he's not super
result
worried about it.
result came back. Was it earlier today or yesterday? Everything blends in.
Yeah.
Um, Nothing came back concerning like long term wise. So
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
I guess it was kind of a nothing burger. But what it was interesting to me is, one, I believe he was probably my top choice if we were to stick and pick at 3. But 2, I didn't even know this like combine recheck thing ever existed.
I didn't know either. Is it like a is this just medicals or are there like drills and other things that you could do again?
I think because there are pro days and private workouts, I would assume this recheck is primarily just medicals,
Mm-hmm.
because you could run a 40 anytime. Like, that doesn't take I mean, I guess it takes some equipment, but not
It's
like
like, oh, wait,
medical
sorry, my
equipment,
40 was bad. I want to go to the recheck. I promise I'm not this
right?
slow.
But
So
like that's what a pro day's for. That's what
exactly.
private workouts are for.
Yeah.
So
All righty. So let's go ahead and do this mock draft. Let's see what happens.
all right. I'm pretty certain that the Raiders are going to go with Mendoza. I think where this really could throw a wrench in all this is, let's see how realistic the Jets pick is. Also, did you see that it seems to be a trend? David Bailey is now the favorite to go number 2.
Yeah, I know. It seems
A
like
couple of days ago, I'm listening to other podcasts. There were some pretty big draft podcast hitters who kind of like just dropped it on us, because I think a lot of people were assuming edge rusher Arvell Reese, well, edge slash off ball linebacker Arvell Reese from Ohio State is just kind of the assumed pick in that the draft really starts at number 3. And so I don't know if you're how familiar you are, but Daniel Jeremiah, he's a draft guy from NFL Network, and Peter Schrager, he used to be with NFL Network, now it's with ESPN. They both did a mock draft together. They both said it seems like David Bailey's likely, like seems to make the
Wow.
most sense. And then the next day, Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated said the same thing.
Well, you
And
liked him. That's sad.
they all referenced the exact same reason, and that was while the upside for Arvell Reese is probably the highest amongst anyone in this class, David Bailey seems like the double off the wall, to use a baseball
Oh,
term.
okay, I see.
Whereas Arvell Reese could be a home run or probably could even be a strikeout. But like all of them mentioned the same thing. And I'm not saying there's some like conspiracy or, there's collusion or whatever. I just find it interesting that they all mention that. And it just seemed like the odds shifted pretty dramatically this week. And so before I hit start, I can't speak for what the simulator is going to do. I just thought it was interesting that Arvell Reese may be available at number 3 when typically he's not.
So here's the
But
question.
I'm pretty certain we're still going to get our
Well,
guy at tackle here at number 3 available. So let's go ahead and get this started.
all right. What?
Okay, so in this situation,
What?
Jeremiah Love went number 2. So forget everything I just said before. We'll cut that out.
Okay, all right, PFF.
Personally, I don't find that to be very realistic. I know a lot of people I know a lot of people are excited about Jeremiah Love. Some even have him as their top player overall. I don't think we'll ever get another running back going second overall ever again. Last guy would have been our guy Saquon Barkley. I know. I mean, as great of a player as Jeremiah Love is, that just doesn't seem.
What's the argument there? Like
here.
Brees Hall just leaves, and you have.
I think Brees Hall is the number one reason why not to do it.
What?
Unless, if this were to happen, I think we could assume Brees Hall is about to get traded. That could be
shocking. I can't believe the computer just.
Yeah,
that seems random.
But you know what? For the purposes of this exercise, we can still take an offensive tackle. I say we go ahead and let's filter out what our options are. So, unfortunately for the Cardinals, there doesn't appear to be a Joe Thomas. There doesn't appear to be a Joe Alt. Guys who were just as clean of a tackle prospect as there is. No one's a guarantee, but those guys were pretty highly thought of. Francis Mauigoa, I'm trying to remove my Miami Hurricanes fandom bias here, but it feels like he probably has maybe the highest floor, given that he has positional flexibility. He's your classic, I like him at tackle, I love him at guard. Guards and tackles, they do have different skill sets that you look for. I do, given that we probably can easily upgrade at guard as well, I do feel like that argument makes me feel a little bit better about taking a let's say that, I don't know, how do the Eagles feel at guard? Do you feel pretty comfortable at guard?
Actually, no. We're looking at Tyler Steen, and considering that he may leave after next year, or he's just not gonna. He's gonna be up for a contract negotiation, and honestly, he's not really like that great. So we were thinking about, when we look for the Lane replacement, should we find someone who could play guard this year and then take Lane's position? Or is it worth just going for the best available true tackle and just let Tyler Steen just kind of, go off on his own, and we can fill the guard position whenever? So it's almost like, why take the guy who's flexible for 1 year when it might be he might be worse off as a tackle? Like, just take the actual tackle prospect, regardless of flexibility. So that's where I'm kind of at with guard.
I honestly don't know how many teams, because every team plays 2 guards, right? I mean, how many teams are like, oh, I'm set at guard, there's no improvement that we could make here? So we could probably apply this reasoning to pretty much most of the teams in the league. Um, I mean, you can look at the rankings here. This is per PFF's big board. Everyone's big board's going to look, slightly different. But I would probably say this is about the similar to the consensus rankings. Um, Francis Mauigoa probably's got the slight edge over a guy like a Spencer Fano type.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if it were me, I would lean towards Francis Mauigoa. I like the positional flexibility. Fano also has that same flexibility as well. He's got a lot of experience. He's a 3-year starter at Miami. He was a 5-star prospect, and if you just watch the college football playoff, he was one of the best players in the playoff. You could see him dominate guys in good competition too. I mean, they played Indiana, Ohio State, even Texas A&M. I would feel pretty good about it. I got nervous the other day when I saw that recheck. It felt like that may take him out of the running. This is all assuming that we actually stay at pick 3 as well.
Of course, yeah. All
I
this,
think we're a prime
every mock
candidate to
draft is.
move down. This draft feels very similar to 2003 when we moved down. We technically moved down to then move back up a little bit. But for this purpose, we're going to assume we stay at 3. I would go Francis Mauigoa, and then I would see, okay, what does the second round look like? Because I do think, defensive edge is a place where we could improve on, and so
All right.
I say we go Francis Mauigoa with this first pick.
See what happens.
When we get to our second pick or second round pick, I say we do move up a little bit, and we'll kind of see what the Eagles did, and we'll see kind of who else went and where to give us an idea. Okay.
All right, we'll scan the first.
Let's go up a little bit. So again, Arvell Reese, we mentioned him before, makes a lot of sense given the situation to go to Tennessee. I do think, and I kind of want to point out, given that we went tackle, I think the Giants are is a prime team to take a tackle. I think Cleveland is a prime team to take a tackle. It is interesting. We took Mauigoa. The next 3 picks were like the big 3 is what I would call them. They all went edge. I think those teams were also. Let's see. I think those are also teams that are primed to take a Jeremiah Love type as well. Maybe not so much the Browns, but I do think the next 2 picks after us. Let's see. So here's an interesting one. At 12, Monroe Freeling. He is a left tackle from Georgia. He is definitely a high ceiling, low floor type guy. Apparently, he's got all the
earlier today.
Yeah, he's got a lot of the measurables. He's got a lot of the height, weight, speed type. He's definitely more of a projection. I mean, he's huge, 6'7", 315. He's also only a junior. Will be 22 when the season starts. So really, you look here, Spencer Fano was actually not the second tackle taken. Again, this is just a simulation. This is just one of infinite possibilities. Scroll down a little bit more. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his first name, but I know his last name's pronounced Iowana. He is a true guard. There is no positional flexibility here. As great as I hear he is, and as safe of a pick as he is, I just don't think a guard. It'd be very tough to take a guard at number 3.
Oh, I'm looking. I see a thing. I see Jordan Tyson on the Cowboys.
That would hurt both of us for multiple reasons.
Well, no, because look, George Pickens. That's a George Pickens is getting traded move.
Right, exactly. That means we have a deal. That's hey, if we can get a guy that we like, let's go ahead and lay out the framework of a trade. That way, when this pick does happen in real time, we can just go ahead and hit send. Here's an interesting one, Omar Cooper Jr. So that, again, reason why I make, it's interesting for you is because I think Jordan Tyson, if injuries did not exist, if this was a video game, you could go to settings, you could turn injuries off. I think there's a real argument you could take Jordan Tyson, number 2 overall. I think he's that talented. When I watch him, he looks like Justin Jefferson to me. And I
So
know people don't like to take the best player and use that as a comp, but just the way he moves, and I don't want to make this an Eagles thing. We could do this all night, but I'm a huge fan of Jordan Tyson.
yeah, I'll save that for next week then. I was gonna save some. I was gonna talk about Jordan Tyson, ask a question, but you know what? That's better
Hey,
safe.
don't worry. I'll make some Cardinals comments next week. So, here's one. Blake Miller from Clemson. Um, I mean, from what I hear, this is about right. It's probably on the earlier side. He's a tackle, and so just like quarterbacks, I think these guys get pushed up a little bit. He could easily have like a mid-second round grade, but then go somewhere in the first easily, just because of the demand for tackles. Caden Proctor, he's a high upside guy as well. For those who do watch college football, maybe one of the more fun plays of the year. He lined up out wide as a wide receiver, and he probably carried about like 5 Georgia Bulldogs on him. Almost scored. It would have been
Yeah, that
awesome.
also looks like Blastoise.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy, I think too. Sick. Oh my gosh.
Jeez,
No, no, Blastoise ain't that big. Like,
three
yeah.
sixty six.
If he stay, I heard he got down to like 3. I think that was his playing weight. I think he got down to the combine at like 345. But this is
Wow.
what's so frustrating. Guys know they can get the right nutrition in them. They'll get to the weight that the team they know the teams want to see them at.
Yeah.
366 is huge. I know 345 is still huge. But like I think a team would feel like at some point you're just so massive, like you
Is
don't
that
really need
too
to get
big
any
for a
bigger.
tackle? That might be too fat for a tackle. I don't know, man. That's huge. You have to have some like. Is he nimble? I don't know. Like
I
that's a
mean,
huge
let's look at
guy.
his read up. Proctor's a massive, powerful offensive lineman prospect with surprisingly good coordination and movement ability for his size. However, his lack of ideal foot speed and arm length for a tackle likely makes him a strong candidate to move inside the guard.
Yep, there
How
it
can
is.
any quarterback see over him if he's a guard? Here's the other thing. He's not even 21 yet.
Wow.
Like there's an offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland, who probably would like love to get his hand. I mean, look what Jeff Stoutland did with Mekhi Becton.
Are we
And this
forgetting
is
that
the
Jeff
same
Stoutland?
profile as Becton.
Are
And what did
we,
they do? They moved him to guard.
he's not on the
So,
team.
you want to do what?
Jeff Stoutland's not on the Eagles.
So,
I don't know if
hey,
I don't know if you were like saying like, yeah, let's see what Jeff Stoutland does. I'm like, he's not on the team. Who cares? I don't
no,
know.
no, well, no, I was saying like I'm sure there are offensive line coaches who aren't as
Oh,
good
okay.
as Stoutland
Hmm.
who have the same excitement.
Yeah.
Hey, look what I could do with him. He's not even 21 at that size from Alabama, so it always makes you feel better when you take an Alabama guy, right? Um, but yeah, so I mean, there's a little bit of a tackle run right here. You got back-to-back picks. Let's see what else. Oh, Max. I always struggle with this name. Ianachor. I
Wait, you
believe
don't
that's
even know
how
how
you
to
say it.
pronounce his name? He's an Arizona State kid.
Okay, as a Sun Devil, and I watch every Sun Devil game. I don't remember like watching thinking, man, we got a first round tackle like on
That's
this
what I'm
team.
saying.
Like,
Like,
and so I'm not trying to hate, but to be
that's
fair,
concerning.
no,
That's,
right, but like, do you watch any game like notice like Trent Williams of the 49ers?
no,
I
you're
thought
right.
even
A
today,
good tackle doesn't get mentioned on TV.
right? He's very raw. He didn't start playing football until just a couple years ago, and he just transferred to ASU from Fresno State, I believe, last year. So he's got all the tools that you want to see, and he's got kind of a similar, hey, you know, this is where this guy is now, and he's only been playing for look, Ian Achor only began playing football in 2021. 6'6", 330, and he's got good movement skills. And that was displayed at the combine. A lot of people raved about that.
Hmm.
He's a guy I would love to target. Like if we don't go tackle with our first pick, he's absolutely a guy I would love to target with our second pick. Shoot, this is about the range that consensus seems to have him, at least on his higher end, is late in the first. I'm not opposed to even, throwing a fourth or a fifth someone's way to get up in this range to secure someone like him. So again, the point is to see who's available at pick 34 if we do X. But he is the last tackle at this point. I don't know how much sense given that we took a tackle, we could look at who are
Caleb
all of our
Lamu.
options.
Caleb Lamu is there at rank 38, and then I think you
So
see a drop off there.
yeah, you could just by PFF's rankings. Yeah, there's a good half round
Yeah.
plus drop off. He also he was Utah's left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Fanu was Utah's right tackle. For the Cardinals, we have Paris Johnson. Depending on how much you like or dislike switching guys over, I personally would, in a perfect world, you just keep a guy at his position. But I understand how this works. Typically, a team's best tackle is going to be on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
So most guys drafted are going to be a team's left tackle and then eventually switched over to right. And so that's one reason why I do like Spencer Fano is he was actually a right tackle and it matches up with our need. This Jennings Dunker guy is also interesting. You hear a lot of good things about him, but I think the most exciting thing, he's got a great set of hair.
I think I saw him at
So
the combine.
yeah, you probably did. Okay, but let's actually take out tackle and let's look at some other guys who are available. So, if you are watching right now, you see just best available. Period. Caleb Banks is an interesting guy. It's been a theme here. It's hard not to notice Giants. 6'6", 330. He is a interior defensive lineman. It's interesting because while I think there is room for growth from our interior defensive line, we do have a couple guys who we have drafted and invested in the draft that just haven't quite lived up to the hype. Last year, we took Walter Nolan, 16th overall. In the limited amount of games that he played, I thought he looked great. He made his career debut actually last year on Monday Night Football against the Cowboys.
Oh, he was a freak.
Sometimes, yeah, in some positions, it's really hard to see their impact. They don't always show up in the box score. But on the first drive, you saw his impact. You saw a guy with his movement skills at his size making tackles for losses, getting Dak Prescott off his feet and off his spot. I was very excited. I hate that we had to wait half the season to see him because he had was it a calf issue? I think he had a calf issue that slowed him down.
Did he finish the season?
No, he did not. So he got hurt. Yeah, forgot it was one of the later games in the year, along with Garrett Williams, our starting slot corner. He did not finish. It was feared he tore his ACL or his Achilles, and the team was hush hush about it. They're like, yeah, they did like the hockey thing. He's got a lower body injury.
Oh,
And they're like, oh my gosh. And you know how it is with big guys when it comes to like Achilles and stuff.
yeah.
They don't recover as fast. That's a lot of pressure, on your lower body. Small, lighter guys, they can just pop right back up and get back on the field much quicker than a big guy. And so it felt like, given when he got hurt, oh man, like, is he going to miss all of next year too? And it's BJ Ojolari all over again. It's Darius Robinson all over again. So, but last week, his girlfriend came out and said, nope, it's just like I don't want to say minor, but it's just some kind of, like, not a fracture, but he should be ready for week 1. Now, leave it to his girlfriend to be the Adam Schefter of the team. It was always, I'm not saying we have to have complete transparency, but the way the Cardinals handle injuries too is they're so secretive about it. I feel like there's only so much you can gain from that kind of a strategy. But so to go back to this draft, Caleb Banks, he's an interesting guy. Same with Peter Woods from Clemson. Clemson was a top 5 team in the preseason. They had like 3 guys that were projected to go in the top 10, and as a team, they disappointed. So individually, they also disappointed. Not really a direction I would go. I don't think the need's there, and I think there's enough questions there. The next guy is Emmanuel Pregnon, the guard from Oregon. I would say after Ioana, he's probably the number 2 guard. If it were me, I would load up on. You can never have enough offensive linemen. Your offensive line can never be strong enough. It can never be deep enough. I just think you should always. It's kind of like the Packers with quarterbacks. They have this rule: you should take one every year, or every other year. I feel like you should always take offensive linemen. I thought Isaiah Adams was good, but and we have him under contract for 2 more years. He was a 3rd-round pick in 24. I wouldn't let him get in the way of taking a guard here.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Zion Young, he's an option here at edge. It's hard to quote helmet scout, meaning just because he's from the same school doesn't mean they are the exact same type of player. But the Darius Robinson experience hasn't been the greatest. And again, it's so irrational to be like, well, Darius Robinson didn't do well, so a guy 2 years later who had the same helmet, I'm not even sure. I guess they probably were teammates, but probably for just a year or so, to say, oh, I don't want nothing to do with Zion Young. But I do think he would be an option. He's right now the top edge on the board. Here's a big one. Ty Simpson, in this mock, he does fall to pick 34. Was it last week or the week before? I think it was 2 weeks ago. I proposed the idea, hey, if he's available at 34, that means the Jets, who have 3 picks ahead of us, at least at this spot,
said no to him.
With the equal level of need at quarterback, said no 3 times.
What does that say about Ty Simpson then?
And so, I don't know. There's really not that many quarterbacks that go in the 2nd round. You're either good enough to go in the 1st round, or you're probably not considered until somewhere in the 3rd. And how many of those guys actually still fall to day 3 in the 4th round? I wouldn't do it. But I think a lot of people think we would. And so it's worth at least discussing, hey, 34th pick, he's 43rd on the ranking. It's about 45th, as an average draft position. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. 42nd, but then 38th as a ADP, average draft position. It's not the most egregious reach. And if the team liked him, at the end of the day, if Mike LaFleur was like, this is my guy, he does everything I want, he is more of a Brock Purdy type archetype, and that's all I need, and as long as he's cheap for 4 years, we could win with him. I probably wouldn't do it, but I could convince myself, and I could see the plan. Okay? I could see the plan. And then the last guy I probably want to mention here is D'Angelo Pons.
Isn't he fast?
I really like him. He had an awesome he had like a low 4.3 40.
Yeah, I remember that.
He would likely be a top 10 pick.
Whoa.
If he wasn't, he's listed at 5'9". I saw him as low as 5'8" somewhere.
Dude, he's small.
He's very small. But apparently he's got crazy arm length.
Huh.
Like he could tie his shoes standing up.
Wait, is there like an arm length percentile on this PFF thing?
We can give it a shot.
Click on his name, see what happens.
This is great podcasting.
I know, it's great.
He graded out great last year. He was the 8th graded at Indiana. Let's see. Do they have combine? I mean, you can see these grades are excellent. You may not have combine info. Let's see.
Oh, I don't see. Oh,
NFL
by the way, I don't see it,
combine D'Angelo. Nope, not
Tanner. It
D'Angelo.
doesn't show up on the screen.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Protect a little bit of my privacy.
Yeah.
So at the combine, he only did a vertical jump as far as like a testing score.
Oh, okay.
It says arm length 29 and 3/8. That doesn't seem that long, but it might be long for a guy given his height.
Yeah, it's probably relative.
Yeah. So I bring him up not necessarily because I think corner is our biggest need. We drafted Will Johnson last year. Garrett Williams also, along with Walter Nolan, suffered a leg injury that we don't have the details on. He's our starting slot. And D'Angelo Pons probably projects as a slot guy given
Yeah.
his size. But he's a guy that when you just watch, you see he gave me like like a very similar feel to Quinyon Mitchell. Like when I watched Quinyon play, specifically at the Senior Bowl, I'm like, that guy's dominating. Like
It's
I
sticky.
see, like you can see him just like he's shutting people down. And so I just wanted to bring him up. Realistically, because I don't know how many teams like to double up at a similar. I know it's not the exact same position. If it were me, I would go Emmanuel Pregnon because I value offensive line that much. I think realistically, we probably are going to be in the Zion Young discussion or the Ty Simpson discussion. I say we go Zion Young.
Okay.
I'm going to stick to my idea. If we're going to get Ty Simpson, it's not going to be at pick 34. It's going to be somewhere in the later part of the first round. We either get him late in the first or we don't get him at all. And so I'm going to lean towards a Zion Young type. I also want to do a comparison of if we go tackle first, let's go edge. Because those seem to be the two positions that we seem to alternate the most, at least here locally when we do these exercises. So let's do a Zion Young type.
And the clock ticks down. I wish the
Oh, look at you guys got that Jennings guy.
Jennings.
Or did I get the Jennings?
Oh, heck yeah, dude. Dude, yeah, that's the we'll get the mullet, man. That sounds great.
That's awesome.
More Jason Kelsey types.
You know Jason Kelsey would love him. Speaking of Kelsey, there's a Cincinnati guy.
I see someone.
I know you're looking at Bryce Lance, aren't you?
I'm looking at Bryce Lance.
Okay, so
Mike
we'll
Washington.
definitely we'll mention. We'll come back to him. Don't worry. But let's kind of look at a couple picks after Peter Woods, Caleb Banks, Manuel Pregnon, Caleb Lomu. These are all guys that we just talked about.
Yep.
But they went immediately
look at the Jets. The Jets took them.
And you know what? But it matches need and it matches about how we rank him. Oh, Josiah Trotter. Is that the third Trotter linebacker?
Yeah, that's Jeremiah Trotter Jr.'s brother.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's very similar to his brother.
He's young. He's not even 21 either.
Oh, you have the first pick and the third?
Yeah, so it's confusing. The way it works is it was a 4-way tie for the first overall pick. It's actually something I'd actually think there's a bigger discussion to talk about here of how tiebreakers work in the draft. It was a 4-way, I believe it was a 4-way tie for the first overall pick, and you know how it turned out. Cardinals got the third pick. Imagine being the Titans, who they have the fourth pick, and they had equally the worst record as well.
So is that why they're switching? Is that why there's like different?
Yeah. So I don't know if you noticed, we had the second pick in the second round. So Raiders had the first pick, and what they do, like everyone gets bumped up one, the Raiders go to the end. In the next round, everyone gets bumped up one, then the Jets. And
Oh,
so,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you see the Jets with the first pick, Raiders go to the fourth slot. And then you'll see the same thing here.
Huh, it's pretty cool. I didn't know they did that.
It's you notice it when you're a bad team. Okay, so let's do our last pick here in the third round. Uh I mean here I think it starting in the third round needs less of a I don't want to say something I don't actually believe. Sometimes you just want to pick the best players.
You want traits?
Um and you want to look for traits.
Yep.
So you mentioned Bryce Lance. I find him to be a fascinating player. Apparently, he had one of the highest yards per catch average. And given how much you're interested in the wide receiver market, I'm sure you've come across a couple paragraphs
He's,
about him.
he's Christian Watson. I'm helmet
I don't
scouting.
want to. I don't want to do the helmet scouting thing
Helmet
again.
scouting.
But like, man, he profiles out to be Christian Watson 2.0, North Dakota State, 6'3", 210.
He's
Ran like
old.
a It makes he is on the older side. I mean, he may be about 24
Wow.
by the time he starts his career. And that is like look, older and lesser competition. That's a little bit of a red flag like, hey, are you just dominating 19-year-olds?
You're just beating up on kids.
Like it's a fair question. But also, man, he feels like Christian Watson 2.0 and I loved Christian Watson. Regarding the Cardinals, I don't think wide receivers necessarily our biggest concern.
No, I don't think so either.
I think we like what we got out of Michael Wilson last year. He's very promising. I think he's actually probably he may at this point get a contract extension. He's been in the league for 3 years, so he's officially eligible. He finished the year with 1,000 yards, and given how the year started for him, that's actually pretty incredible. Uh, we have Marvin Harrison Jr. Hopefully, in a new offense, he can get closer to his potential. I think it's too early to give up on him. We have Trey McBride, who I think is the best tight end in the league. We got a lot of options from a receiving standpoint. I do like Bryce Lance. I think he's super interesting. I just don't think here's where we would go. I don't really think he would be an option.
Okay.
I would still consider I would consider offensive line at every single pick, probably from here till the end of time. So I don't want to really harp on that too much. This Kalen Rutledge guy, something that was interesting. You see how he's ranked 74th? He was actually in Peter Schrager's first round, and it caught some eyeballs apparently. A third round type guy he threw in the first round. This is kind of again. I don't want to get too much into the Eagles talk this week. There's a handful of wide receivers here, and I know we're talking at the top of the third. You guys.
No,
Oh,
you're doing
you guys are right here.
Branch. No, I'm seeing
Yeah.
Branch. Yeah.
So it's hard not to notice Bryce Lance, Elijah Surratt. He was pretty good for Indiana this year. Zachariah Branch, who
Electric.
some may see as like a gadget guy, but he's very electric if you can get him in space. You're not really seeing any that many edge options. What do you? I mean, are you
No, I
noticing
don't see any
anything?
edge either. And that's it's true. I mean, all these top quality guys go in the first and second round. I mean, edge rushers are premium, so they really do fall off if you don't grab them early.
So this guy, Caleb, how do you say that?
Tiernan.
Kiernan.
Tiernan.
So it was actually reported that he got a top 30 visit with the Cardinals. Um, if you just looking at Monty Ossenfort's history, top 30 visits are pretty indicative of guys that we have interest in, specifically in the first 3 rounds. It makes sense. I'm sure that applies to most teams. But he is available here in the 3rd round. And so if we don't go tackle in the first, I mean, personally, I don't think we can't go tackle again. It just doesn't seem likely. I don't think most teams would build that way. But given that we have a top 30 visit, I think it's at least fair to consider, hey, this could be a spot where he goes. In this scenario, Kalen Rutledge is available in the 3rd round. I know I just mentioned about Schrager, so he may not be here in reality. I'd probably look at those 2 guys. I'm really weighing the fact that we have a top 30 visit with him, and then 3rd round seems to make a lot of sense for a guard. That doesn't necessarily guarantee
No,
that
I,
Isaiah
I
Adams
agree.
doesn't have a chance, but
That's
this
where you
feels
find
like
the value.
prime guard territory.
Yeah, that's where you find good value. You don't have to. It's like taking a guard in the 1st round feels like, you could have found those guys later. Let the people overpay for the guard in the 1st round. You can go find a guard of similar quality later in the draft. So hit those priority positions early, and then go find your guard in the middle, which I think makes sense around here.
I say for this exercise, because we went tackle in the 1st, let's go with Kalen Rutledge. And that should conclude, because we don't have any more picks. All right, let's get a grade. Ooh, a B minus.
Ooh.
Draft rank, bottom 28%. So let's take a look at this.
What?
With the 3rd overall pick, we took the 7th player on the board. Got a B plus. I get it. 3rd might be a little rich for Maui Noah, given where people have him projected. But he probably gets a little bit of a bump because it's a priority position. B plus seems fair. This one seems a bit harsh. With the 34th pick, we took Zion Young, an edge guy, high priority position, giving us a C plus. I don't think we reached that much.
No, I don't think so either.
Did PFF want us to trade back a couple spots? I mean, look, we could. I don't think we're going to do that in any of these exercises, but we could. And I'm sure they would love it if we could have picked up an extra 4th round pick somewhere. And then here, Rutledge, we took him 65th. He was on 74th. C minus seems a little harsh. Maybe PFF just like, hey, you don't take guards until day 3. Maybe that's what it was. Because I just don't feel like we reached that much. Overall, B minus. I mean, I love B minuses.
I think what they're doing is they're basically taking whatever the pick was and then looking at their big board and just subtracting and just saying however far the difference was is your grade.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is this actually a suggestion? They're saying we should have drafted Jake Golday.
Oh, that's funny.
Linebacker from Cincinnati. So, okay. I mean, look, don't criticize us if you're not willing to offer a solution. So,
That's funny.
Hey, you know what? I think that's fair. This is just how the entire 1st round went.
Huh. I like that little breakdown thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, hey, you know what? I think this was valuable. Now I think it would make some sense. Let's kind of switch it up a little bit. Let's see what happens if we take an edge rusher.
Yeah, let's see how this changes things.
Sorry, gotta take the Eagles off. Let's do 3 rounds. Let's do about middle speed. And let's enter. Okay, well, PFF really likes Jeremiah Love going 2nd.
What is going on with this?
You know what?
Am I missing something? You're just going to keep doing it until it's not Jeremiah Love?
I'm not going to keep doing it forever. Care for positional value. It's on the lower end. What if we just put it in the middle? I'm not trying to manipulate it too much, but I want to have some realistic options here. 3, enter. Okay.
There
See what
we go.
happens
There we
when we
go.
factor in some positional value. So Orville Reese went second. I do think it's possible, but given the odds that came out this week and some of the mock drafts from the top guys, it doesn't really seem like that's the direction that they may go. But I still, for this exercise, to me, it's less about who we take and more about what position they play. Because I want to see what our options are later in the draft. Do you have a preference between Ruben Bain or David Bailey?
I'd
Or
go, I'd go Ruben Bain all day, honestly.
personally, again, I'm trying to remove my Hurricanes bias,
Let's say your
but
first two drafts are going to take Hurricanes. This is
but
great.
I watch Ruben Bain play, and he looks like he's playing amongst kids.
And
And if we
honestly, I'm
look,
going to say it. Ruben Bain passes the name test more than David Bailey.
how cool would he look on game day with one of those Bane masks from Batman?
Oh, you're kidding. I mean,
He's
oh,
actually embraced that. So yes, the name test, he got an A+. You know
absolutely.
how I said he looks like he's just playing against a bunch of kids? Like you
Hmm.
could see the power that he plays with. He's also only 21 and a half.
Like, honestly, I'd be willing to find out about the arm thing just on the chance that it doesn't matter.
Right. You know, we talk about guy with his arm length never gone in the top 100 picks. A guy with his arm length has never got double digit sacks. All this stuff. That doesn't mean he can't do it. It just means we've never seen a guy with that arm length dominate the way he did. So he already proved in college he could overcome it. But the fact he did it as a 21-year-old and a 20-year-old and not a 24, 25-year-old, that means something to me. I would personally go Ruben Bain, but in reality, if we went David Bailey, I'm not too upset either. He's a year older, you know, he's a little bit slimmer, you know, same height, but he's about 20 pounds less. I think he probably plays more traditional edge he wins with speed as opposed to power. Whereas Ruben Bain, he's power all. He might be the strongest guy in the draft. Um, Again, for this exercise, I think we can go with either. So I may as well satisfy my Miami Hurricanes bias by going with Ruben Bain.
That's position.
And honestly, David Bailey's probably going to go fourth. That would be my guess, and he does. Kind of monitoring how this draft went. Looks kind of similar. All right, let's scroll
See
up.
how it went.
David Bailey, very next pick. Francis Maui Noah ends up going 7th. I think Maui Noah is actually a candidate to go 4th, 5th, and 6th. I actually would have said 7th would have been the least likely spot. So the fact he actually goes there is a little funny. Remember with the last draft, we had that run of edge guys. So like the big three all went right after. In this case, Orville Reese went 2nd, and then we go 3rd. And then the Titans go 4th. So there was that run again of the big three. They all three go back to back to back. Scroll down a little bit. You got Monroe Freeling again going ahead of Spencer Fano. You know, I don't know if that's likely, but they're close enough to where I don't think this really changes too many opinions. There's our guy Jordan Tyson. He went instead of 20th. He goes up one spot to the Panthers. Let's see what the Eagles went Cassius Howell. Okay, funny thing about Cassius Howell, he's essentially Ruben Bain, but like maybe 70-80%. He's like the light version.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the same arm length concerns where his arm length's just as short as Ruben Bain's. Scroll down a little bit. Max Ionachor, Caden Proctor, Blake Miller. All these guys are all in that, the run starts, I would say, as early as 22. But yeah, they go 3 out of 4 picks here. All right, so let's look at our options here for the Cardinals. Again, Ty Simpson's there.
He's not leaving.
I feel like most of these mocks are gonna have him there, given that he's ranked 42nd.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a computer program. I mean, it's
Now
not
we
ranked.
did up the positional value, which should push him up a little bit, right?
Exactly. Being a quarterback.
So in this scenario, we did not go tackle. And we have very similar options here. I still think Emmanuel Pregnon, I don't want to ignore, because we do not have a right tackle that I feel good about. I would be very nervous for Jacoby Brissett. But Jacoby Brissett, I don't think, is our long-term issue or our long-term answer. And so it seems kind of rough, but I'm not as concerned about protecting Brissett in that scenario if he's not our long-term issue, but he may disagree. It looks like the top tackle option would be a Caleb Lomu. We talked about how he's, a left tackle. I'm not 100% opposed to moving him to right, but in a perfect world, you don't have to do that. You do have Ty Simpson. You got D'Angelo Ponds. It's a very similar group. I was hoping there'd be a tackle. Like, I think what this exercise is telling us, in a scenario which we go edge, it's very likely we're not going to get our tackle option if we stick and pick at 34. If we're going to want Max Ionachor, if we're going to want Caden Proctor, if we're going to want a Blake Miller,
It's just not happening.
we're going to have to move up.
Yeah.
And depending on what order you like, again, I would probably lean towards Ionachor, trying to take my ASU bias out. It's very difficult to do that. I would even be open to a Caden Proctor. I feel like they probably profile very similarly. Super athletic guys on the younger side, so you may be able to mold them a bit. There could be a scenario in which the Cardinals wait till the very last. Let's just say Blake Miller's the last guy. They may just wait and see until that last guy's available to finally pull the trigger, and they'll take whoever's left amongst that group. Now, they may not like all three guys equally. They may have one or two guys well ahead of the other. But I think what we're learning here is if you do go edge and you are hoping for a tackle with your second pick, you're going to have to move up for him. In this scenario, if we're not doing trades, I would lean towards Emmanuel Pregnon, and I would just try to find a different solution at right tackle. I wouldn't hate a Caleb Lomu type. What are your? Do you have any thoughts? I know it's hard to ask. Hey, what's your thoughts on the Cardinals' third round guard from 2 years ago? But
the way I would see it is, if I don't like the offensive line position where I'm at, I don't know. Maybe I just punt it and go somewhere else. Maybe I bulk up and go defensive. Maybe I bulk up and go Caleb Banks or go somewhere else. Or maybe, like, if you're not loving the guard play, like, why settle for the guard?
Because I don't love our right side of the offensive line.
So you're just.
I hate what we have at right tackle, and I'm not sold at what we have at right guard. I love Paris Johnson. I think Isaac Seumalo was a good signing, and I like our center. But it's the right side. There's just, even if our quarterback of the future is not going to come till next year, I still would feel better having more of a foundation than hoping we get our answer next year. We could sign a guy in free agency next year. We could draft a guy in next year's draft, and our future quarterback's going to be set. But I would feel better knowing, hey, we went ahead and we got our Emmanuel Pregnon, and it's just one spot we got to fill, as opposed to feeling like you're reaching a little bit to fill right tackle after switching a guy over.
Does
I would go.
D'Angelo Bonds like make you think a little bit differently? Would you be interested in that slot corner, or is Garrett Williams still like the guy?
I think Garrett Williams is the guy. He fell to us in the third round 3 years ago because of injuries. He was likely at the very least a second round pick. I think he could have been talked about probably in the late first had he been healthy. So we only got him because he was hurt. And then he also suffered another injury this year. And we don't know what the status of his injury going into next year. So there's a chance we don't sign we don't give him an extension at least yet. He was primed to get an extension. I do believe he was primed to get an extension though. Do I like D'Angelo Ponds just in a vacuum at this spot? 100%. I think he's a great player. It's one of those things where
you have a petition.
if you believe that Ponds is a slot and you believe that Garrett Williams has a future with the Cardinals, that he's in our long-term plans, it would be harder to find a spot for D'Angelo Ponds. If you had question marks about Garrett Williams and his future, then he's let's answer that question. If you think that answer is no, you have concerns about Garrett Williams, D'Angelo Ponds, I think, is absolutely a target here. I lean towards he probably does have a future. So I just think it's going to be a little bit harder to take D'Angelo Ponds here.
Are you surprised that Casey Concepcion is here?
I am. Maybe this is a PFF thing. They just haven't updated their rank because the rankings do fluctuate here and there.
I've been seeing him in the first.
I don't think. I think he's going to go in the first. I know his big thing is his hands. How reliable is he? How consistent is he catching the ball? I'm not as concerned about that because at the end of the day, just the threat that he can be is going to keep defenses honest. And if it means dropping a pass here and there, it's not like a team's going to be like, I don't know, he drops the ball 6% of the time. We're not going to cover, 30 yards downfield because he may drop it 6% of the time. No, that threat will always be there. And it'll keep a defense honest enough to where they have to cover that part of the field. And so I feel like that's a little bit of an Eagles talk, but I don't think he's going to be there. I think the Eagles could take him at 23.
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. I was wondering if it's just a blip or is this something that's like a trend? Like, is this something that's like, wait a second, is he someone we could sneak into the second round? I don't know, but that's not a conversation for right now. But who are you thinking about taking then?
I'm thinking about, I would go Emmanuel Pregnon if it were me.
All right, let's do it. Let's see what happens in round 3. Or let's see where everyone else falls.
Lomu went with the very next pick.
Concepcion, Ty Simpson went to the Browns. Yep, that makes sense. Chris Brazzell.
That's your guy. I don't know, man. He's the Tennessee wide receiver. Is that right?
And Brett Coleman loves his Tennessee wide receivers from what did you watch that video yet?
Well, no, isn't that the joke? Because he actually hates him, but he likes him.
He likes him, but hates most Tennessee receivers.
I don't know if you know that he did go to the Eagles too. I don't know if you were.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, Bryce Lance is still staring at you.
There's Bryce Lance again. There's also that Caleb Tiernan. Hey, you know what? In a way, this kind of worked out too perfectly. We went with Guard in the second. Tiernan, I mean, again, I know how the Cardinals work. Top 30 visits, very important, very indicative of where they're thinking. I think he's absolutely an option here, given that we haven't taken a tackle. Is there really anything else much for us to say that we haven't already mentioned? I think Tiernan makes a lot of sense here.
And he's ranked higher than your position that you're taking him in, so that's actually going to be a good grade. He's starting 64, you're going to take him at 65.
We're at 65. I mean, he's right in line. Tackle is a premium position, so we shouldn't get dinged too much. Makes a lot of sense to me. Let's go Tiernan.
All right, I'm going to say B+.
I think we may get a slight... I'll say B. We got a B- on the first one. I'll say we get a B on this one.
Oh, the Eagles took Josiah Trotter. B
B plus.
plus.
Oh, they like that Tiernan
Yep,
pick.
I knew it. They love it when their grades line up.
The grades definitely line up 3 and 5, 34, 36, 65, 64. Definitely much more in line. Again, what did they not like? They didn't like our guard pick. I think this is a systemic thing.
The card issue.
I don't think PFF likes taking guards on day 2. I think there's a belief that you got guards are day 3 picks.
All right, let's have the fun draft. Let's bring out the Jeremiah Love draft.
You want to take okay?
I'm
Look,
serious. Let's do it. Let's do a Jeremiah Love draft. Hey, if
all
they're
right.
going at if he's going at 2, why wouldn't he go at 3, Tanner? I mean, come on, this isn't a reach.
3 rounds.
You know that you want to. I know Tyler out. Listen, this is the ultimate pain humiliation ritual for me. That Tyler Algier is going to get Bijan twice.
Here's the thing, because Jeremiah Love is a fun pick. But the term we that's been used a lot around here is you got to eat your vegetables. Jeremiah Love is a dessert.
Just
And at some point, you need to eat your vegetables. And do we have the infrastructure around to support getting
we
max
had this whole
value?
conversation about running backs. We had this exact conversation you just mentioned there.
The team picking number 1 overall did this last year. So if your goal is to tank for Arch Manning, I think the Raiders laid out the blueprint. Right? 1, 2, same as last time. Mendoza, Arvell Reese. Let's do it. Let's do Jeremiah Love. If it were to happen, I'd get excited. How could you not?
Of course.
Like, he would be a fun player. And every game would be, let's see what we can do with Jeremiah Love. We're going to get him 20 to 25 touches a game. And we're just going to see how far can he carry us. So let's do it. Let's get reckless. I don't like this at all. All right. Oh, wow. Okay, we got a couple new people here.
Ooh,
Max
how about that?
Ioannidis fell
Wow.
to 34. We haven't been seeing Caden McDonald in this spot. Again, you got just have all the skill players. Jeremiah Love, Casey Concepcion.
I say you run up there and take Max.
Okay, this has been posed here locally. Take Jeremiah Love 3rd and get Ty Simpson, whether it's at 34 or late in the 3rd. Like, your offense is set. You still got a huge hole on the right side of your offensive line. You got your skill guys. You got your tight end. You got your quarterback, and you got your running back. That's
exciting.
That's candy for dinner. I mean, it's just
that's not. There's no.
If it happened, I would get a sugar high. All right, it would be electric, but it would be so irresponsible. In this scenario, I'm running up to. I am turning the card in as fast as I can. Well, what are you thinking?
No, I agree. I mean, you wanted Ioannidis like earlier when you did the base draft.
It would be easy for me, especially since you went running back. You have to go Ioannidis. So let's just go ahead and do it. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing we haven't already said. Let's look for that Eagles pick. There they are. Chase Pistonis. I'm actually not familiar with who that is. Oh, here we go. It's a good thing we got our tackle because Caleb Kiernan was not there. That would have been disappointing. Oh, we would have been so close too.
Well, too bad there's no edges.
I don't know what else. We've only taken him in the 3rd, so a little bit of a different discussion here. No, we took Kalen Rutledge.
Oh, that's right.
Honestly, he'd probably be the pick here as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you liked him earlier in this earlier draft, I don't see
We did
what's
it
changed.
before. We
That's
haven't taken a
too.
guard. I know we're going to get dinged from PFF, but Romello Height, how tall are you? 6'3". If your name's Height, I mean, you gotta ask. Yeah, I mean, to me, that makes a lot of sense. It's not as bad as an outcome as I would have anticipated. You completely ignore defense, and so that's a concern. But sorry, you only get so many draft picks. I mean, you can't fix every single spot. I think the play here would be going with a guard, Kalen Rutledge.
Jeremiah Love would have so much to run behind.
But if you're trying to support the run game, you would feel somewhat responsible after taking him third to go O line, O line.
Tackle guard, yep.
Our right side of the line is fixed in this scenario, right?
Your offense is pretty
Our
much set
offense is set for the next
except for a
3 years.
quarterback.
And we could maybe address quarterback in next year's draft.
And then
I'm
just
not
name
gonna
the
lie.
defense.
I don't know what PFF's gonna do here. Probably not great. This wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
It doesn't look bad at all.
I still think it's reckless, but there's a
Look,
little bit of luck here.
If Ian Archer wasn't there, it'd be a totally different conversation.
I agree. And he easily could have gone. We could have gone Lomu, all right. We could have gone Emmanuel Pregnon. Those guys were both available at 34. But in this scenario, we did luck into Ian Achor. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I'll just emphasize that. Let's go with Kalen Rutledge draft. Let's see. Eagles trading Stukes from Arizona. That one was a B. You know what's funny?
Ooh, they gave you an A for the Ian Archer. Wow.
I mean, we got a couple. What we were +3 surplus in value.
Oh, they
And then
wanted
the
you to
fact that he's
draft
a
this guy
tackle.
Slaughter.
It doesn't really seem like a position we would. I mean,
No,
we
yeah.
like Wilson. We took Cody Simon last year. I mean, sure, if we want to just. I just don't. I think because this is the second time that they recommended someone else for Rutledge. I think
It's
they
only
clearly don't like him. So, look, like I said, it was better than what I was anticipating, but I'll take it. I say what we do. We'll post these results online, and
Yeah.
we'll kind of give everyone an opportunity to kind of judge for
React to it
themselves.
and see what they say. I
Yeah.
actually thought this was cool. It really showed how the different positions kind of like spider web out and create different outcomes for the rest of the positions. Like
Mhm.
even though we talked about similar names, the different names going in different positions let us kind of have different conversations about where the positions ended up having us take them. Like we didn't expect Ian Atcher to go in the second round. You made the claim that if we want him, he'll be in the first. No, not exactly. Maybe there's a world where he doesn't, where he lives out of the first round. So that would be great.
I
So
think if you were to make it to the second, I think what that says is teams were just a little too spooked out about
as
his
wellness,
rawness
yeah,
and his lack of experience.
I
Even
agree.
though you can turn that into a positive, there is there's a negative in a risk within that, and I think that's what that would mean.
Yeah, I'm glad that there were some differences of like how the draft panned out. Like I know, like I was worried that it would basically play out within 1 to 2 picks of the ADP and like their rankings, and they wouldn't really take to like position like exactly
Yeah,
what the teams
too
needed.
chalky.
You know what I mean? It felt too
Yeah.
chalky, and I was like, "Ugh, is this going to be chalk? And it's going to be the same guys at every position." But no, there were some curveballs in there, and that's what made it interesting. So that was pretty cool. I can't wait for next week to do the Eagles one. That was really interesting.
Oh no, and the Eagles one would be fun too. I mean, yeah, we started at the top of each round because we did the Cardinals. I think the Eagles will be just as informative. How
We have
many
four.
how many third rounders do you have? Because you had an
We have
early
two.
third. You
We
have
have
two.
two. So we'll
Are we
have four
making
picks.
4 picks?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll have 4 picks. We have, and I believe the third round we have the Jets pick. So it's
It was
pretty
a
high.
very high third rounder. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a pretty high third rounder. So
Is that the Hassan Reddick pick?
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it's paying off 2 years
Because
later.
there was some stipulate. It was conditional.
It was a third that could have been a second if he got 10 sacks or played a position of percentage
Did he
of
even
time,
play
but
10 snaps?
he just got there and pouted. So like it was never going to be a thing.
Yeah.
It sucked. I look, here's the thing, right? Coming off of like 2 15+ sack seasons, I was like, oh, 10, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, he was coming off double-digit sack seasons, yeah.
of course. But then he got there, he got moody,
And they were
stopped
looking to win
playing.
too. That's important. I think they were in a win now mode, and
Exactly.
if you're thinking about winning, you're probably going to get some pass rush opportunities.
Ugh, just went down the drain. Think about how good that pick could have been if it was the second round pick. Oh my god, that could have been amazing. But yeah, it is what it is.
That
Third
would have been
round's
the first pick in the second round,
fine.
which essentially
Assad.
is like a first rounder, right?
Dude, that would have been in like the Howie Roseman trade Hall of Fame like
In
annals.
a
That was
world where you're competing with the Seahawks general manager Snyder, it's just another like addition to your resume.
getting the 33rd pick for someone you cast off 2 years ago and is like not even really relevant now. That'd be incredible. Like, 'cause that's like Hassan Reddick isn't really relevant now. Like, he's
Do you
not.
remember Chase Claypool, the wide
Yeah,
receiver,
the wide
most known
receiver.
for the Steelers?
Hmm.
Well, I remember when the Bears traded for him. They didn't know at the time, but they ended up getting the first overall pick. That was the Bryce Young year. And so the Steelers essentially got the 33rd overall pick that year.
Chase Claypool is best known for scoring 4 touchdowns against the Eagles in one game.
I don't remember that, but like
He
it's
did.
the Eagles. The Eagles' history with opposing wide receivers is funny.
It was insane. It was. I know for a fact it was at least 3 touchdowns, but I'm pretty sure it was 4, and it was disgusting. That was the same game that Travis Fulgham went off, and he became like a legend for like 2 games. Same game, but we talk about Fulgham more. But yeah. So man, look at that. You know what we said it was going to be a shorter one. It's 1:17. You know what time it is? You know what time it is.
Oh, I thought
The extra point.
Dude, I laid it up for you. What the heck was that? Oh my god.
I was sitting there. I'm like,
All right, so I figured out an extra point. All right, I got one for you. All right, so this is what I got. So, if you had a whole workday, let's say 8 hours, all right, would you be able to wash every dish that you have ever used in a restaurant in your entire life? Do you think you could do that?
hand
Think
wash?
about what?
Hand wash?
Yeah. Every single dish in every restaurant that you've ever eaten off of or used. Think about all of them combined. Do you think you can get it done in 8 hours?
I don't know.
Let's think about how many dishes that is. I think that fills a room, right?
No, I'm gonna say no. Not because I know exactly how many dishes there are. What this is like the oldest thing about me. My back gets tight when I do dishes. Like physically, I couldn't go 8 hours of that. Do what?
My back's tight right now. It's
It
chairs.
does. No, if I were to go do dishes right now, and I would do it for like, sometimes like you can't always put things away or you can't quite get to it. So the sink will, start to add up a little bit, and sometimes you just gotta put your headphones in and just kind of get to work. If I do that for like 10, 15 minutes, my lower back will get tight and I'll have to go take a break. So the answer is a definite no.
You're done after 10 minutes. You have maybe 15 plates done.
That's why when I get done eating and I get done with all my dishes, you do a quick rinse off, put it in the dishwasher. That's what it's for. I'm sure your dishes are stacked up to the gill. Like Do you even have a dishwasher?
I do, yeah, of course I have a dishwasher. And I'm good at it. Every night our dishwasher, every night our sink's clean.
Wow, y'all are good at using dishes then.
I take this everything in the dishwasher. I take everything in the sink.
I probably could run my dishwasher. It's just me now, so like at least twice, maybe 3 times a week.
Oh wow.
But I do a good job of eating in though. I have not been eating out a lot.
That's good.
I'm trying to adjust like groceries and stuff for one person,
Mhm.
and I'm finding myself overbuying a lot of groceries.
Oh, so you're just having
And
extra stuff.
so I'm actually not giving myself a chance to eat out. I ate out last night for the first time, maybe like a couple weeks. Like I've been eating in.
Yeah.
And so when you eat in that much, you're gonna do more dishes, right?
Where'd you go?
But when I have that much food, you're just gonna really utilize your dishwasher.
Where'd you eat out at?
Taco Bell.
There we go. All those options out there in Arizona. You're like, let me just get the corporate slop.
It was just one of those quick things.
Oh, I see. I see. All right. That makes sense. I think I could get it done in 8 hours. And here's my logic. All right. I think that 8 hours is a lot longer time than we give it credit for. I think when we, do dishes, I don't know. I think you can get a lot done quicker than you think. And I think a lot of the restaurant plates that we've ever used, how many of those restaurant plates are just like not even dirty? Like, yeah, think of the ones that have like a piece of bread on it. Think of them like you don't have to scrub them down all the way. Like, I think you could definitely like look at them and be like, rinse, done. I think
I don't trust this at all. I
mm-mm.
don't trust you being able to fairly gauge the cleanliness of each plate. You're gonna talk yourself into, I don't know, that was pretty clean, right? It was just
Yep, that
bread.
looks good. Yep, yep,
Oh,
yep.
like it was just some ketchup. Like what the just lick it off and move on. Like I don't trust you at all. We're gonna eat out when I come out to visit. We're gonna eat out every night, or I'm gonna do the dishes, and we'll just everything to the dishwasher. We're not hand washing anything.
You gotta rinse it off first, then it goes into the dishwasher. Come on, it's like
Oh,
a
of
frozen batter.
course,
Yeah,
but we're not hand washing.
yeah.
I don't
All right.
trust you.
I'll try. Dishwasher handle it. All right, what's your extra point?
If you could join a movie or a TV show cast, what would it be? And I'll
Oh,
give you
you mean
some
like
time to think about it.
in the universe?
In the universe, what I
You mean
mean,
like you mean like I would go into their universe or like be a part
yeah,
of that
so yeah,
TV
I
show?
thought about when I initially thought like as an actor, but if you want to take it, I did think about like, do you actually want to join that world? So it's whatever way you want
I
to
think
you want
you
to
know what?
take it.
You know what? I think the common question is usually like, oh, what universe would you want to live in? But you know what? I think I'll do the other one. I think I'll do like what cast would you like to join as like a extra character or something in a show? Because I think that's a little more interesting, a little more nuanced. How about? Oh God, that's tough. How about you give yours and I'll think of mine. Huh.
Yeah, so there was the big three that I thought of that were instant. It's Star Wars, Harry Potter, and any Marvel movie. Um, would I want to be a Jedi? Of course. Would I want to be a wizard? Of course. Would I want to be a superhero? Of course. Like they're all like fun characters. I initially started this as you being an actor, not
Yeah,
necessarily joining that world.
yeah,
And so, have you ever heard the idea? And I guess it's more relevant maybe as like a high school kid. Don't work at your favorite restaurant because it actually like it kind of ruins the appeal of it. And maybe just because you see it every day, maybe you learn habits that you're like, ooh, this is how the sausage is made, kind of a thing. And I've thought about this. And those are like my main three watches. Do I actually want to like lose the thrill as a fan of can't wait to see next week's episode or can't wait till this movie comes out? Because obviously, as an actor, there's no surprise. You know the script from day one, and then you rehearse everything. there's no more like crazy ending that you got to like you didn't get the theater experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't quite sure if I actually wanted to pick one of my favorites. But if I did, if I had to pick amongst those three, would it be? And maybe it's less about like actual acting skills and do I want to tell people that I'm a Jedi, or do I want to tell people that I'm a superhero?
Well, here's another thing, Tanner, that you're not considering. If you join
Okay,
that universe, you could die.
I
Like you're not
die.
maybe you're not the main character. Maybe you're I don't know, like
No,
if
no.
you're just
In
an
this
actor,
hypothetical,
no,
I get to
no,
do
no.
whatever I want.
If no, if you're just an actor, then like
No,
you're like
get your own extra point. This is
you're,
mine. You get to be
you're not
whatever.
actually gonna like come to harm.
Wait, what do you mean you don't come to
It's all fun
harm?
and games saying you're a Jedi until someone lightsabers your arm off.
Okay, really, John? You know how many people got their hands chopped off and survived? It's like a Skywalker, like, everyone does. Everyone gets their hands chopped off.
But that doesn't sound fun. Do you want yours?
I mean, I am pro keeping my arm, yes. But there is evidence to suggest that you don't have to have it and you
You
can
could be
still
a
be a Jedi.
Jedi, and here's another thing. You could be a Jedi and then have all the fans of being a Jedi in the real world. There ain't no real fans of Jedis, and I don't
Well,
know,
hold
like
on.
people.
Are we mixing this up? So I
No,
took it
I
as
don't
just
think
like
I
being
am.
an actor. So like I'm not actually a Jedi, but when people see my face, they're like, "That's Obi-Wan Kenobi." When they see
Yes,
Ewan McGregor, so like
yeah.
he gets all the credit of like that's Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I mean, I know he's not. Like,
But think of it like Harry Potter. Like, would you rather be Harry Potter or would you rather be like Daniel Radcliffe? You can say because people
Harry's
still look
gone
at
through some stuff though,
him and say that's Harry Potter. That's awesome. Oh my god.
right? But I guess my one of my other points was he didn't get the same thrill as a kid of like growing up watching Harry Potter as we did because he was Harry Potter and there
Oh,
was no like viewing experience that he got to like experience.
well, I have my answer, and
Okay.
I think you'll agree with me. It's Independence Day.
Oh, okay, hold on. Do you have a character in mind? Like are
No,
you
well,
being a character or are you
no,
like
I would be my own character. That's what I'm saying. I don't think I would be a
no, but like are
character.
you in the universe or are you just an actor?
I'm just an actor.
See, I love
I
that
don't want to
answer
die in that universe.
because
Like I don't want to die.
there's two films, but like it's in a way it could have easily been a standalone film.
Yes,
It's a single movie that I don't lose like sure, you don't get the experience of seeing it in theaters, but like it's only one. It didn't really expand, so it's not like a continuing oh man,
exactly.
I'm really missing
You can
out.
say
Whereas Star Wars is
forever.
expanding, Marvel is expanding, it's gonna be never ending. And
You could say
so
forever. You
I
could say,
love
"Oh,
your Independence Day answer.
I was like, I was on the set with Will Smith and like Jeff Goldblum, and I could just talk about all the time. Oh, look at anyway, yeah. So, yeah, the alien suits were actually, they weren't actually they were prosthetics, and when we shot them, there shot real bullet holes in them, and when Will Smith walking around like welcome to Earth, you know. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Like that's pretty sick.
Nope,
Yeah.
100%. I'm stealing your answer. I want to be an Independence Day. I think being the president. I don't know that actor's
Oh
name.
my God, Bill Pullman. Bill
Yeah,
Pullman.
Bill Pullman. Yep. Okay. Um, I mean that would be a cool character. He gave the
Think about all
awesome
the crazy
speech.
people in that movie, man. The crazy grandpa, the crazy dad's like,
The
what?
schmuck.
Yeah, the guy who's like, he's like, hello, boys, I'm back.
Oh, the scientist.
No, no, not the scientist, the crazy dad who was a
Oh no, no, the
protester.
crazy man. Yeah, 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 the drunk
Yeah,
guy
yeah, yeah, who could
who saved the
fly.
world.
The guy who
I mean,
said,
the scientist would be a fun character too,
"Oh
but
my god!" And you got like David's like very very like Jewish dad. He's like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "David, what are you doing? You gotta
David,
get yourself sick." Dude,
even,
there's
oh my gosh,
oh
there's so many good. There's the main characters that are great. There's the side character. You remember in the very beginning, he says, "David, I gotta call
David,
my lawyer."
David, I gotta call
Like,
my lawyer. Oh my god! Oh my god!
he probably got what 90,
10
no more than
minutes.
90 seconds of screen time, but like, oh,
Yeah, I'll forget my lawyer. Oh god.
like, oh man,
Oh, dude, we could just start ripping Independence Day lines all night.
that was a great answer. That would be my answer because you get to preserve the fandom part of it, but also it's a great, awesome movie.
Because let's be real, if I'm not one of the main characters, I'm gonna die in that movie.
And
Like,
yeah, yeah, and in our
crap
story,
went
you
down.
know, the non-main characters in Star Wars and Marvel and Independence Day, they die.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely survive those like 15 citywide nuclear bomb blasts. Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, it's not
so with not the last Jurassic World movie, but the second to last one, they did not an audition, but they did like a raffle. You know, if you donated to charity, you enter into a raffle to be uh an actor who gets eaten by a dinosaur. You
oh,
don't
that's
say
funny.
anything, but it was just like a way to like, hey, let's promote like a good charity cause. But then you get to be in a Jurassic World movie and get eaten by a T Rex, and I'm like, that'd be kind of cool.
Oh, absolutely. Even if it was just CGI, that'd be fun.
I mean, even if it's CJ, as if it wasn't, even
I don't know.
if it's not, even if it's not a real dinosaur, it'd still be cool.
No, well, did you watch Project Hail Mary yet?
Is that the astronaut one?
Yes.
Is that the one where there's only one actor?
I, there's lots of
I
actors.
actually, I rewatched The Martian. Do you remember that one
Yes.
with Matt Damon?
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually rewatched it earlier this week or last week,
Did you like it?
and so they were just talking about like all the different space movies, Interstellar, The Martian. And they brought up Project Hail Mary. I have not seen it, but I was watching like reaction videos, and they were talking about it.
Well, yeah, The Martian is, as you know, based on a book, and it's
Yeah.
written by the same guy who wrote Project Hail Mary. I read Project Hail Mary
Oh.
last year actually, and it really, I mean, great book. I couldn't recommend it enough. One of the best books I've read. I read like three, but but
Top
no,
three.
yeah, but top three book for sure. And I think they did the book justice, and Ryan Gosling really did a good job. Kind of look, he's not Matthew McConaughey. He's not, and by no means is Project Hail Mary, Interstellar. I don't think they're the same vibe of movie, and I think once you start watching Project Hail Mary, you notice that they're not really going for the same thing you know
Mhm.
but it is a really good movie, and I was going to say not CGI because one of the main characters in that movie, I won't spoil anything, something that you would expect to be very CGI was actually completely made of practical effects and puppetry, so it wasn't actually just a
One of
CGI
the charms of the original Star Wars movies is that obviously they didn't have CGI back in late 70s, early 80s.
practical
But
effects.
how many practical costumes and stuff that they used.
Dude, I love practical costumes.
And I
They're great.
I I really appreciate not using CGI. I get it. Sometimes it doesn't do the situation fit if you don't. And it's better to use CGI than like not have it at all. But like I said, there was a charm with the Star Wars movies, and so I'm pro, you know, using costumes and stuff like
I
that.
love. I mean, I love it. I mean, I think things like the Muppets and
Mhm.
anything Jim Henson is just. I mean, I think that guy's a genius. But I mean, I think the practical effects are really, really awesome when you have like an old movie that uses puppets or practical effects. It really takes it to the next level. So, love that
Yeah.
stuff. Man, we got off on a tangent.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, let's wrap this up. So next week we got the basically very similar setup for the mock drafts, except it'll be the Eagles. Like I said before, we'll have four picks, starting in the late first, ending in the late third. We have one of our comp picks, And then, guys, it'll be the NFL draft. And like we said before, Tanner's going to be coming down. We're going to be doing a couple of shows that draft weekend. We'll do one Friday night, Saturday
Live
night.
in studio.
It'll be great. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday we'll cover the first round. Saturday we'll cover the second and third rounds, and Sunday we'll cover the day 3 picks. So, and mostly just a wrap up. So expect 3 pods. So we have 4 pods coming over the next 2 weeks. That's crazy to think. Like, we have a lot coming out. And guys, I will say, you guys have been doing some good out there, because the last 2 videos, the 2 of the most watched videos that we've had have been out of the past 3 weeks of our videos. So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but basically our views are trending up, up, up. All right. We're going to be golden. All right. Sorry, I couldn't resist. For those who don't know, Tanner's kind of addicted to K-pop Demon Hunter, so I couldn't miss that one. He's only 1 year late to it, so I mean, I'm better
That's
late
the
than
shame.
never.
I might be the biggest fan, but I'm so
He's like,
late.
whoa, I love this. It's like a year later.
I just got the Netflix password. That's why.
It's great. All right, guys. Well, anyway, thanks for everything. And again, this is Tanner. He's John. And catch you later on Birds Coast to Coast. Later.